Hello, hockey fans. I'm a little bit late with this, but it's kind of intentional. I want to get this out before today's action starts. It's not much, but there's some important games. First off, a bit of news. I got this baby in the mail today. Yes, that's the Avs 2023 Stanley Cup Playoffs T-shirt. It's amazing. I do like the design that they cooked up. But yeah, as we get the Stanley Cup playoffs, there are two teams who joined the party last night, and this one was first. It wasn't easy for the Panthers, but they did it, even though it cost them a lot. They're in the playoffs, but they did not. I wouldn't call them the winners of that Kachuk trade because, as a result, yes, they're in the playoffs, but they could end up finishing 30 points lower than they did last year. Remember last year? 58 wins, 122 points, President's Trophy. It was a dream regular season. Yeah, it only got them one series win, their first series win since 96, but the expectations were there. Then they make this big deal, and they completely decline, but not bad enough to miss the playoffs, though it didn't look like they weren't going to make it. So, yeah, Florida is in. They're a wild card. They're a wild card. Because the top three in each of the two Eastern Conference divisions, that's nailed down. So Florida's a wild card. They can finish as high as the number one wild card. Um, and it's pretty much, yeah, the puzzles starting to come in clearly now. If Florida finishes as the first wild card, they'll face whoever wins the Metropolitan, and that right now is between the Carolina Hurricanes and the uh, 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 New Jersey Devils. If they finish as the second wild card, then they're going to face Boston, the same Boston team that set the record for wins and set the record for points. But remember, you know who Florida has on that team? Sergei Bobrovsky. The same Sergei Bobrovsky who 4 years ago was on a Columbus team who stopped a 62-win Tampa Bay Lightning team in round one. So he's the whisperer in that regard. But yeah, more on the East a little bit later. Right now, I want to talk about the other team who joined the playoff party for 2023. I do love Winnipeg's horn. I really do because it's unique. It's very unique. No one else has anything like it. But congrats to Peg. They did it. They completed the Western Conference Elite Eight field, and sadly, which means sadly as a result, the Nashville Predators, who made the playoffs last year and have made the playoffs 8 years in a row, they're out. So that streak is over, as was Washington a few days ago. Um, yeah, so I did pick Winnipeg to be a playoff team. People thought I was nuts, but I had them finish in the top three of the Central, and it looked like they were going to. Then they started to fall off right around after the break, but they managed to get back up off the ground just enough to reach the playoffs and get that last spot. Calgary and Nashville lagging helped with that. So so yeah, Winnipeg's in, and with that, that completes the Canadian playoff field. Three Canadian teams in the playoffs: the Maple Leafs, the Oilers, and now the Jets. Last year it was the Maple Leafs, Oilers, and the Flames. And so yeah, so the same odds as last year. Canada has a 3 out of 16 chance, which is about, I think it's 19% chance. I think it's a 19% chance of winning the Stanley Cup because it's three teams out of 16. Of course, mathematically, if all the Canadian teams actually made the playoffs, which would be a hell of an anomaly, the chances would be 40. I think it would be 43. I think it would be 44%, which is a good chance. But but yeah, so there's a 19% chance that the Canadian team is going to win the Stanley Cup this year. But yeah, Winnipeg's in, so yeah, the 8 West teams, that's settled. What isn't quite settled yet is positioning, but again, that puzzle is getting clear too, because Winnipeg is not only in, they are locked in their current position. They will be the second wild card in the in the Western Conference. They will be the second wild card, and thanks to some results that happened last night, we know who will play who tentatively. Um, Winnipeg as the second wild card will face the number one team in the West, and that will be between whoever wins the Pacific, either Vegas or Edmonton. The runner-up will face either the Kings or the Kraken as the third place team, who are still competing for third place in the Pacific. Whoever doesn't get third place in the Pacific, they will be the number one wild card, and they'll face whoever wins the Central between us and Dallas. The runner-up in the Central will face the Minnesota Wild. So yeah, the puzzle is finally coming clear. There are pieces in there, and the rest of the pieces will be filled in within the final 3 days now of the season, including today. Speaking of today, I have to mention this. I said I would mention the East again. I have to mention this because this could happen here. I'm stuttering because I can't believe it. I'm a little bit shaken about this. The Pittsburgh Penguins have been in a good bit of trouble for the last month or so. Now, this could be it. Pittsburgh failed to win against the Blackhawks last night. As a result of this, both teams have one game left. Both they and the New York Islanders, the only two teams left alive for a playoff spot, they each have one game left. The Islanders game is tonight. They are at home against the Montreal Canadiens. If that game goes to overtime, that will give them 92 points, and they've clinched the regulation wins tiebreaker over Pittsburgh, meaning the Penguins cannot pass that number, whichever it is, which means if the Islanders go to overtime, regardless of what the Isles do in overtime or the shootout if needed, the Pittsburgh Penguins will miss the playoffs for the first time since the 05-06 season, which was Sidney Crosby's rookie year. And it will end the longest current playoff streak in North American sports. They inherited that position when the San Antonio Spurs missed the playoffs 3 years ago. And now Pittsburgh is one Islanders point away from that streak ending. Detroit had that streak a long time ago, and I remember when that ended. I'm an Avs fan, I'm supposed to despise the Wings, but when the Wings streak ended, I was honestly heartbroken because you get used to things. I mean, 25 years, that's a lot. You just enter every season. You just enter every season and think, when the playoffs start, Detroit's gonna be there. That ended, and we got that familiarity with the Penguins. Crosby's gonna be there. Even if he doesn't get far, he's gonna get there. He's gonna be there. He's gonna play at least 86, if not 89 games. But that may not be the case this year. Sidney Crosby's season, the Pittsburgh Penguins season, their 2022-23 season, is in jeopardy right now. Pittsburgh's game is tomorrow. They face Columbus, which should be an easy win, but then again, we thought Chicago would be easy. Look what happened there. Pittsburgh is cheering hard for Montreal right now. Montreal needs to win that game in 60 minutes. If they don't, that's it. And if any team can pull off something crazy, and they report out crazy things ever since the pandemic started. If any team can pull off something crazy, it will be Les Habitants. Watch them. So we'll see tonight if it happens. I'll have my video congratulating the Islanders, but I will definitely be talking about the end of the streak as well if that happens. So that's my video. If you like this video, click the like button, click subscribe. If you want more of my stories about the Panthers and the Jets, two former Southeast Division teams. I love that division. My stories about the Panthers and Jets will be in the description below, so check them out if you can. And I may be back later tonight to talk about the Islanders and congratulate them and mourn the end of the streak. I mean, well, this may make me more heartbroken than another streak that ended, but that's another story. So anyway, stay tuned.